Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Lincoln. I am a Climate Corps Fellow with the Energy Coalition, and we're here to walk you through our Peak at Home webinar series. So, the Energy Coalition is a nonprofit with over 45 experience in the energy field. We focus a lot on our relationship to energy, how we use it, where it comes from, and how does that energy affect the environment. And today we're going to be hearing from uh, Elizabeth Villano, and this is a way that you can look at potential careers in STEM and figure out if an energy career is something for you. And also, we want to plug Peak at Home. We have fun hands-on lessons you can do after the webinar to continue the learning in your own home.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Patricia. I'm also a Climate Corps Fellow. I'm in the San Diego office, so other side of California. So we're going to go ahead and get started watching Elizabeth's video.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next installment of the My Energy Future webinar series. I'm here with Elizabeth Villano, and she's going to be telling you about her job today. Take it away, Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. I am Elizabeth. I am a park ranger for the National Park Service. I've worked in a whole bunch of different parks, from the Marin Headlands to Alcatraz to Rose of the Riveter, World War II Homefront to Muir Woods, and that's where I am right now. I'm in the Redwood Forest, working to protect these trees and help people connect to them. I'm from Illinois, from a Chicago suburb that was about 45 minutes away from the city, and I loved my childhood. I got to play out in my backyard a fair amount, but we didn't really have any parks around us. There wasn't really a culture in the Midwest. Maybe there is now, but when I was there wasn't really a culture of being outside so much. So as much as I would go outside in my own backyard, it took until I was much older to actually go to national parks and recognize what they were and why they existed. Once I started going to national parks, I realized that people get paid to protect the outdoors, and people get paid to share the incredible science of how our world operates with other people. And I was hooked, and I never went back. So a lot of the things I do right now are still related to being outdoors. I love to hike, I love to climb, and identify native plants. Also, I love to do habitat restoration, so create a more diverse ecosystem by bringing back in the plants that have lived here for thousands of years, and really help our biodiversity out here thrive. But in everything that I do, I love doing it with friends. So climbing is best with people. Camping, hiking, I love doing those things with the people I love. Fun fact is that I used to work on a ranch teaching kids how to ride horses, mostly because I wanted to be outside all summer, and that was a great way to do it. I guess there's kind of a theme throughout this. I also did cross country in high school, so spent a lot of time outdoors running. And in Illinois in the winter time, that's a thing that I look back on with wonder. And I've always been really fascinated by the way that nature grows and it all interacts with each other. I went to Brandeis University. It is way out east near Boston, Massachusetts, and I studied public health. Public health is asking the question of why do we have the health that we have, more than just passed along from our parents, and saying maybe some of our health comes from the health of the environment around us. I didn't know that I wanted the outdoor education until senior year of college, when I had to take a experiential course, and I ended up doing a course on forestry and trees, and we would spend 3 hours outside a week, mostly identifying trees and chopping logs, and it was great. And my forestry professor called it breaking through the green wall. When you walk outside, you don't really know the trees and the plants around you, you just see a wall of green. and his goal was trying to teach us to look at the green wall and be able to identify friends. That sounded really corny to me at first when I started, and now feel like when I walk through a forest, I'm seeing a whole bunch of different friends and the ways that they interact with each other. And so it really helps me look at a forest through this really beautiful community perspective.
How did you get where you are today?
That's a question that people ask national park rangers a lot. Big things I had to learn in this career was how to feel like I belonged here. There's kind of this mentality that so many people want this job. The people who are in it don't deserve it, that there are so many people who would fill in our spots if we were to leave. So one of the biggest things I had to learn was how to know that I belong here, how to put on the uniform and wear the hat and feel like I deserve this. And in talking to other rangers, we all kind of felt like we weren't the perfect people for the job. And honestly, in talking to people in all different careers, everybody feels like they're not the best fit for the job they're in. Or a lot of people feel it, I guess I should say. And so one of the biggest things I've had to learn as a professional is how to take that feeling and not let it change my work performance and just really be who I am, and be truly myself, because I am the best at this job when I'm acting like myself.
So, if you had any advice for students, Elizabeth, what would you tell them?
So my advice for you is to not just think about national parks as a really isolated place where beauty exists, but to really look for it everywhere around us, and also to fight to protect national parks and the places in our areas when we all go home to our communities every day.
Cool. Well, Elizabeth, we have a couple of questions from you, from our audience. The first question is, what's your favorite part about being a park ranger?
I love it when I can show people how magical the natural world is. So many things around us are working in this really delicate balance. The flowers come up at just the time when the bees and the flies come through the forest. And it's all so beautiful. And I really love seeing it myself, but what I love doing more than that is showing people around us just how incredible the natural world is. And I think as a park ranger, I have a really unique position of being able to bridge science, which sometimes kind of feels distant and not as magical as it is, and where people are in that moment. So I loved acting as that bridge and showing people how cool the world is.
All right, and we have one last question. So this is from a student who went to a national park last summer, and they remember meeting with a couple of the park rangers, and they remembered that none of them were women, and they were curious to know how you felt about being a woman and a park ranger.
That's a great question. I think for a really long time, women weren't even really considered to be rangers. The first woman was a ranger in 1918, and then it took all the way until 1978 for women to even get a badge. We've made a lot of progress since then, but it still can be challenging at times to be a woman. I feel really respected and uplifted by my coworkers. As a matter of fact, there's 7 employees in Muir Woods, and 6 out of the 7 are women. My boss is a woman, my boss's boss is a woman, my boss's boss's boss is a woman, and my boss's 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 boss is a woman. So we've really started to change the way that people think about rangers, and really showing them that women are absolutely just as capable of being a park ranger as men. And I try to show that to people when they come into the woods. We have a couple of images around the woods of all men park rangers. So I like just stationing myself by them and really showing people that you don't have to look or act a certain type of way to be a park ranger, and that I'm effective in a different way than probably a man who's a park ranger would be. It has its challenges, absolutely, but it's so rewarding to be in a place that just uplifts women so much right now.
Wow, cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know I really learned a lot, and I hope that our students got something out of it as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Lincoln. I hope all of you at least go out and experience a national park. And if you have any questions about how to be a ranger, I can give Lincoln my email and y'all can email me about them.
Great. Thanks. Till next time.
That was awesome. All right. So I think that that was a really cool video and also very appropriate for this week since it's Earth Day this week. I loved learning about Elizabeth. So what we're going to do now is the activity, which is a skills mapping activity. And if you haven't already, I'll give you just a few seconds to find a piece of paper and some markers of different colors. You can grab it off your fridge. You can grab it off of the floor, wherever you got paper and pencils laying around. All right, so once you've got your paper, you're gonna be drawing a brain map on it. And you're gonna start with a circle in the middle with your STEM hero, which in this case is Elizabeth. And you're gonna be putting different circles out from the center of your STEM hero. And in each of these circles, we're gonna be filling them up with different types of skills that she possesses. So here's your different kinds of skills. First of all, you might have technical skills, and technical skills are the ones that you usually learn like in school or at work on the job. So they're pretty specific. They are skills that you need to make your job happen. Then you've got workplace skills, which are kind of general, and these are big picture skills that one learns over time. And usually it takes a team to make your workplace work. So everybody brings in different facets of workplace skills. And then the last one is interpersonal skills. And these refer to skills that you are learning every day when you interact with people. So these are people skills, like having good manners and listening skills and communication skills. And these are also extremely important to get the job done. So the first skill that we're gonna think about for Elizabeth is the technical skills. So go ahead and write in the chat box what you think are some technical skills that Elizabeth might have acquired. Here's a list of different ideas of skills. So I'll give you a few moments to type in the chat box what skills you think Elizabeth might need to do her job every day as a park ranger.
And maybe you saw something that's not on that list, so feel free to drop that in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's true. So I see project management, process thinking, data analysis. Yeah, these are really good guesses. Design thinking, definitely. Yeah, these are all really, really good guesses. I like that a lot. So we chose our first technical skill for Elizabeth as design direction. So design direction is needed as a park ranger because you are going to be carrying out a set of either like a tour for guests, or you're going to be basically working to figure out how to protect the spaces or make new trails. So you definitely need a direction of design. So you need to know how to make something happen in the long term. What's another skill that we chose? We chose process thinking. So process thinking is kind of going along the same lines where Elizabeth's going to be either interacting with people or working in the national park to carry out a project, and she needs to know what are going to be the steps to make that project happen or that tour happen for the guests who are in the national park. And then the third skill that we chose is project management. Because like she said, she has to manage people. She has to basically put together different jobs within the park. So she needs to have good management skills. These are all really good skills. And the other ones that you chose are great answers as well. So the next skill that we're going to look at is workplace skills. Remember that these are the big picture skills that you need, and usually it takes a whole team to make the job work. So what are some ideas you have for workplace skills? These are some different examples that we've provided. And again, if you can think of any others, you can also write them in the chat box. We're all open ears here. Resource planning, I like that. Attention to detail. We have scope management. Creativity, definitely. Yeah, these are all really, really great guesses. I like that a lot. So the first workplace skill that we chose is creativity. We think Elizabeth needs a lot of creativity to put on a great performance as a national park ranger. People, when they go out to these national parks, they want to learn all about the park. So you have to be creative and how you distribute your information about the national park so that people are interested in it, right? The next skill that we chose is time management. This is an interesting one because when you're giving a tour, it's really important that you stick to an allotted time. Oftentimes when you sign up for a tour, it says it's going to happen from 1 to 2 p.m. And imagine Elizabeth's hiking through the forest. It could be really easy to lose track of time. So time management is an excellent skill. And the last one is resource management, which is also super important because when you are giving tours and when you're working out in the wild, you need to know what resources you're going to need to take on your project and to carry it out. Imagine she hikes all the way up to the top of the waterfall, which takes like 6 hours, and she forgot some of her materials. It's really important that she has good resource management skills to have everything in line and carry out the project efficiently. All right.
Cool. So thank you, Patricia, for taking us through those first two sets of skills. The last set that we're going to be looking at in Elizabeth's skill set are her interpersonal skills. So these are the skills that, as Patricia mentioned, you get every day just by interacting with people. You don't even need to have a job to get them. And they're kind of the glue that in every job you're going to be working with people, and these are the skills that allow you to work effectively with other people. So we're going to have you drop some ideas of interpersonal skills that a park ranger like Elizabeth might need in the chat. Here's an example list for you. But again, if there's anything else you see or you think a park ranger probably would have this and you don't see it on the list, go ahead and drop that in the chat too. Passion, enthusiasm, yes. Confidence, absolutely. Yeah, so strong work ethic. Yeah, I think there's a lot of these that could go into any job, which is what makes them so important, honestly. So we picked just 3. The first one we picked was confidence. So when Elizabeth is designing that tour or thinking about a new trail or organizing volunteers, she has to be pretty confident in what she's doing. She can't be kind of second guessing herself or like wondering, because that's going to show, and it might affect the design in some way. So it's very important to have confidence in yourself and your decisions. The next one, charisma. So in project management and time management, as Patricia said, on that long hike, when you're going through the woods, it's easy to lose track of time, but it's also important that you keep the group together. Charisma is this it's this quality that allows people to kind of lean in when you're saying things and want to follow you places. So charisma is really that core spark of leadership, and she definitely exhibits that on the job as a park ranger. And the last one that we had was positivity. So, you know, when you're thinking through a process and you're trying to make do with what you can and manage your resources effectively, it's not always going to go perfectly. You're going to encounter some difficulties. You might run out of things. You might forget things. Things might be late. So staying positive through all that is really a great way to stay on track and make sure you're following your process to the best of your ability and adapting. All right. So that was our look at the professional skills exhibited by a park ranger like Elizabeth Villano. But now Elizabeth, during that interview, encouraged us all to do something called break through the green wall. She talked a lot about how nature is, it's in national parks, but it's also all around us. And it's important for us to get to know those beautiful places that are in California, so that we can start feeling connected to them and feel connected to this beautiful earth that we're all trying to protect and take care of for the rest of our lives. So we're going to play a little bit of a game. Everyone, I hope you're paying attention, and learn a little bit about the national parks in California.
Right on. So the first national park is, this is a tricky one. So this picture is taken within a national park. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. And we're going to put up a poll. When the poll is up, you are welcome to choose one of the options. We're going to give everybody a shot to choose their answer.
It's okay if you don't know. Just take a guess.
Yeah, guess.
And we're gonna share the answer and some fun facts after.
Yes, we have 3 out of 8. Halfway done. Give you about 20 more seconds. All right, 5 more seconds. Take a wild guess. All right, we're gonna end the poll. So we have a 50-50 response between Yosemite and Laysan National or Volcanic Park. So I'm gonna tell you what this picture is first. This is a picture of Horsetail Falls, and this is specifically when Horsetail Falls is called Firefall. This waterfall is located in Yosemite National Park. Good job for you all who did that, who guessed that one. It's a tricky one, so I'm not surprised that you picked the Volcanic National Park because it kind of looked like volcano lava. But the reason that that happens is that every year in February during the sunset, the way the sun hits that waterfall creates this glow, which is pretty magical. I haven't personally seen it, but I would love to go see that. Yosemite National Park is pretty iconic. It's probably California's most famous national park. It was founded in 1864. And a fun fact is it's actually home to the very first park guardian, which is like what Elizabeth's job is. All right, everybody ready for the next one? Okay, this one's also tricky. This is a picture of a kelp forest. I'm gonna launch the poll number now and go ahead and guess. That was quicker. Give you about 10 more seconds to vote. We have... All right, we have all of our votes. Okay, so this one was also tricky. Most people said Point Reyes National Seashore. In fact, it is Channel Islands. So if you chose Channel Islands, well done. This is a tricky one. The Channel Islands is located off of the coast of Los Angeles, in that region of the central, between Los Angeles and the Central Valley. So you can see on the map there, I put a dot. Channel Islands is really famous for snorkeling and diving. That's why we put that picture there, because the kelp forests are located in the waters around the Channel Islands. They were founded in 1980, so they're a bit newer, and they're comprised of 5 different islands. Usually people go to Catalina Island, which is not part of the Channel Islands Park, but you get to the other islands from Catalina oftentimes. They're also really famous for kayaking and hiking, and they're really, really special islands. One fun fact is that the only native land mammals to those islands are the fox, the island deer mouse, the harvest mouse, and the spotted skunk. So the rest of the animals that you might see on those islands are species that were brought probably from California mainland onto the islands. All right, you all ready for the next one?
All right, let's do it. So, what are we looking at here? Looks like we got a lake of some kind, maybe some kind of mountain range nearby. Some trees there. We're gonna put up the poll. This is a national forest, actually. That's what I will tell you.
Got 3 out of 8 people.
Pretty tricky, yeah.
We'll give you about 15 more seconds.
So we got a lake and we got some trees and some mountains. That lake looks beautiful, really inviting.
All right.
Cool, let's close it. All right, so yeah, I see that some folks said Big Sur. Big Sur does have some water nearby that is an ocean, and it does have some trees, but this is actually Mount Shasta National Forest. So this is the forest that surrounds Mount Shasta, which is the 5th highest mountain in all of California. It's 14,000 feet tall. And as you can see in this picture, there's a lot of snow that's kept up there. It gets pretty cold in the wintertime, even into the summer. And that snow, when it melts, when it's sunny out, flows down into Lake Shasta, which is a dammed lake, and then is led into the Sacramento River Delta, eventually making its way out to the San Francisco Bay. So this one mountain is able to provide water to a number of different towns between Mount Shasta and San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah, let's try the next one. And this will be our final national park today.
Ooh, that's tricky, Lincoln.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Gonna put up the last poll.
Yeah, so let's see. We got some kind of boat there. That boat looks kind of old, so I don't know. And some rocks. I mean, it's a very, very beautiful sky. Yeah, I don't know. And some of these options are close to each other too. Seems like people are making their minds up pretty quickly though. We'll leave it open for maybe 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of grass there in the water, I see. Looks like it could be pretty stormy out there on the horizon. I don't know.
All right, we're gonna end the poll.
All right, so, yep, most of you guessed it correctly. This is Point Reyes National Seashore. Point Reyes has been a national park since the 60s. Yes, it includes 80 miles of undeveloped shoreline. So if you think about in SoCal, and you think about Los Angeles, and you think about Malibu, and you think about San Diego, like all of that shoreline has got hotels, it's got, strip malls, it's got businesses. But imagine if all of that was just rugged, like nothing there but nature coastline. That's what you've got going on in Point Reyes. And there are even some historic ranches that are still in operation. So these are ranches that have been around since the beginning of the 1900s, with cattle roaming these hills and nibbling on the grass. It's a very picturesque location. They have a pretty nice life. And if you were ever go and visit, they have 150 miles of trails to access beaches, wetlands, forests, meadows, and other historic landmarks. It's a really beautiful place.
Sounds like it. Also, I wish that Southern California was the way you described it.
Yeah. So, thanks everybody for joining in today. I hope you had some fun. We tried to get you acquainted with some of the nature out there in California. And we'll see you next time on Tuesday, April 28th, for our next My Energy Future webinar. So that will be the next time that we're talking about professional skills on this webinar series.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And be sure to join us at peakstudents.org to access Peak at Home lessons and previously recorded webinars if you're looking for things to do at home. Take care.
This webinar was brought to you by the Energy Coalition. With NGSS-aligned and environmentally focused STEM lessons, the Energy Coalition provides Peak at Home, digital lessons designed to support your students' curiosity for science and exploration from the comfort of home. To sign up is quick and easy. Simply visit the Families Corner of the Peak website at peakstudents.org/families-corner. There, you can complete the registration form for access to our full Peak at Home library and for more information on all Peak program offerings.